And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Pleasant good Tuesday afternoon to you. Welcome into the drive here live from the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Tournament technically starts today. It'll be on True TV and you can catch it right here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill as Texas A&M Corpus Christi takes on Texas Southern. And at 6:40 Eastern, that's 5:40 our time, it'll be Indiana and Wyoming as well. Tomorrow, there'll be a couple more games with Bryant taking on Wright State and then Notre Dame and Rutgers. So we will not find out about Alabama's opponent for 24 more hours. Filled out your bracket, Wes?
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Who you got? Who you got winning?
Tennessee.
Winning.
Tennessee.
You going all in on the Vols?
Yep.
You like Felica, huh?
I think he just gave me enough confidence to do it. I think that I've watched Baylor play. I think the Final Four will have probably everybody that someone Alabama's played. Either not. I think Auburn has a good chance to make the Final Four. Don't know if they will or not because they're not playing their best basketball right now. But if they find it and Kessler gets they're tough out anybody they play. But to me there's up to 10 teams and the odds kind of say that.
Yep.
That can possibly win. What's interesting is 6 out of the last 7 years, or 7 out of the last 8, one of the two, the champion hasn't won their conference championship.
Correct.
So, going to be interesting. I think the Big Ten's overrated. I think they got all those teams in. I really don't think they have a lot of good teams. Tournament might prove me wrong, but I don't think they do. I think the Southeastern Conference has the best, and wouldn't be surprised if there are not 2 teams from the Southeastern Conference in the Final Four. I think it's possible.
That would be awesome. Your odds-on favorite in terms of Las Vegas to win it all is Gonzaga. That's followed by Arizona, then Kentucky, and then Kansas, Baylor, the defending champs, then Auburn, followed by Duke, Villanova.
See, Duke's not been playing well. I've watched them play a couple times. They are not playing their best basketball. I mean, North Carolina drilled them on Krzyzewski's last night at home, and Auburn's the same way. They're not playing their best basketball.
Yeah.
But you'd have to they have a chance to win it all, yes, because they have the players. But I just don't think neither of those teams, they could make the Final Four, but I don't think they'll win it all.
If you'd like to be a part of the program, you can certainly do so on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We will talk some college basketball coming up in hour number 2. Jerry Tipton, who's been covering the Kentucky Wildcats for quite a while, and I think of him as Mr. College Basketball, honestly, as he has been around the sport of basketball, college basketball, for at least 3 decades. He is going to join us in hour number 2. Here we go. Wolverine Dan and Miss Ginger have just shown up here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill as well. So all the dignitaries are coming out. But I thought it would be educational as well to take a look at the coaching carousel and kind of who is where, as a lot of camps have opened. I completely forgot that Rhett Lashley, he's the new head football coach at SMU. Totally forgot about that. So,
of course, he was
at Miami.
Well, yeah, but before he was at Miami, he was the offensive coordinator at SMU. Rhett Lashley was.
So he has bounced around a little bit. DJ Durkin is now the defensive coordinator at Texas A&M, as Mike Elko is the new head coach at Duke. So that's why Durkin goes from co-defensive coordinator at Ole Miss to defensive coordinator at Texas A&M. So quite a few moving parts. Of course, we know about John Summerall, the new head coach at Troy, and that left an opening there for Kentucky as they brought in a couple of pieces, did the Wildcats. But it wasn't just at Kentucky, Alabama and Auburn with some new parts. Jimmy Brumbaugh is the new defensive line coach at Auburn. Christian Robinson is the linebackers coach. He came from Florida. Jeff Schmelding is the defensive coordinator. And Rock Benanelli is the special teams coordinator. He was a defensive analyst and got bumped up from last year to this year. Eric Kasau, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's Kiesau. He is the offensive coordinator and receivers coach. Also, Ike Hilliard is designated as just the wide receivers coach at Auburn. At Alabama, some changes that have occurred on the staff include Tavarius Robinson, the new cornerbacks coach, comes in from Miami. Eric Wolford is the new offensive line coach that came from Kentucky to Alabama, interestingly enough. Joe Cox is the new tight ends coach who came from Charlotte. And that is the big changes there on the staff at Alabama. What do you think of those changes there in Tuscaloosa?
Well, I don't know why you think that's something surprising that they got out.
Oh, yeah.
Kentucky's offensive line, because Kentucky's had a good offensive line for quite some time.
Of course, we know Florida with their new administration there down in Gainesville with Billy Napier in charge, but Corey Raymond, the LSU cornerbacks coach, is now at Florida. I think that's a big deal.
That was one of his first hires when he left LSU during the change. I think that'll pay dividends. You know, here's the deal. Florida, I will be shocked if Florida wins the East in the next 3 years. They don't have a quarterback. I don't think they will win with on. And they had the 31st recruiting class.
Yep.
Have gotten some transfer. Billy's going to recruit now, but he has, to me, I don't think he has the staff to outcoach Kirby. And if he doesn't win the East or has a bad year the next 3 years, what's going to happen? Gone. So
you think he gets 3 years?
I mean, hell, they fired within a year 2 coaches that did make it. 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Mullen was just in the SEC championship game the year before.
Yes.
And then gone.
So it's going to be interesting to watch. Now, that all being said, I think if they give him 5 years, he can get that thing. I think he'll get there. But
Are Florida fans known for their patience?
Yeah. Not.
Florida State brings in Randy Shannon, who has bounced around. In fact, he was an analyst last year at Florida State. I didn't even realize that. But Randy Shannon is now the linebackers coach at Florida State. Alex Atkins is the new offensive coordinator. He was the offensive line coach at Florida State last year as well. Jeff Tedford. I think we all know that name, even if you're just a mild, just kind of casual college football fan. He's the new head football coach at Fresno State. He has brought in the likes of Kevin Croyle as the defensive coordinator. He was a defensive analyst at LSU. So Georgia made some changes, if you want to call it that. Will Muschamp is the co-defensive coordinator now that Dan Lanning is out in Oregon. But Brian McClendon.
Georgia had a lot of coaches leave, surprisingly. I was surprised by that.
The number of coaches, let's
Yes.
see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coaches are replaced for the University of Georgia, including the offensive line coach, the secondary coach.
Yeah, those two guys were good coaches.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how Georgia does this year. See if they can handle the success, or was it be something like LSU where they just totally
Flash in the pan.
Yeah, they're on the rims by the 5th game. I don't think they will be. I don't think they'll be obviously as good as they were last year. It's going to be interesting to watch.
So, a few other notables. I mentioned Kentucky early on, as Mike Stoops is now on that staff there with his brother. He's the linebackers coach for Kentucky. He was the defensive coordinator at FAU last year. Your new offensive line coach is Zach Yasner. He came from the San Francisco 49ers to join the staff at Kentucky. Also coming from the San Francisco 49ers is your new offensive coordinator, and Rich Scandalaro. And that's it for Kentucky. So not much in the world of changes there for the Wildcats. Wesley McGriff, that's another name that pops off the page that we all know, who's bounced around from SEC school to SEC school. Well, he has found himself a job as the co-defensive coordinator at Louisville. Lance Taylor is the offensive coordinator at Louisville.